Do you think they're going to put him in prison?
There's no way this should stand on appeal.
I believe him more than I would a politician. He is shooting straight, man.
That said that if that Hunter Biden laptop story
have any arguments against that right now, and I want to see how it goes.
What's happening with the Great White Hope, Donald
Great
Trump,
White
right
Hope.
now?
You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and may be used, etc., etc. We know those as the Miranda rights. Miranda was not a nice person, but when you have law, a lot of times some of the most sacred principles are established through the aegis or the agency of somebody that's not nice. Now, if you're worried about downing Trump, you lose track of the fact that what you see, the indictments in New York, Florida, and Georgia are completely outside of the law. Take what this clown Bragg did in New York. Whether you like Trump or not, essentially what they did is indicted him for being the victim of a blackmail attempt. They said he attempted to bribe Stormy Daniels to remain silent. This guy didn't go to law school and didn't pay much attention when he was there, because when you flip the script as you were instructed first year, if you had to pay somebody to be quiet, you got blackmailed. So he's the victim of a felony. If you indict a corporation for failure to file an explicit report as to what the payout was, well, there was a court gag order, and if they filed the explicit report, they violated the court gag order. Okay, get to Georgia. I won't belabor all of the accounts, but I downloaded the 92-page indictment, and I was shocked to find that some of the crimes were that Trump is supposed to have advocated checking out Newsmax, Fox News, and some other conservative, religious-based news institutions. They're legal. Hell, I read them. So that's supposed to be somehow or another criminal now. All right, you get down to this thing in Florida, and they're talking about the documents. Well, let's forget what Trump did. Let's go back when he was not president of the United States and George Herbert Walker Bush was. There's a case from 1988, U.S. Supreme Court. It's called United States Department of Navy versus Egan, E-G-A-N. And if you read the concurring opinions, they say, since constitutionally the president is the commander-in-chief of the military and chief diplomat of the country, he has an inherent power to declassify or classify anything, any document, in any form, shape, or fashion he chooses. He can do what he wants with it because, guess what? The mandate that causes it to be prepared says it is for the exclusive purpose of advising the president on the state of our intelligence versus what's going on in the world. So he also has a fiduciary responsibility, it's been held, that you do, once you take that oath, whether you are in office or not, it still binds you, and you have to make an assessment on whether archivists have appropriate security clearances. And also the other thing goes to this.
So far, let me tell you something. The reason why I love listening to this conversation between Judge Joe Brown and Jesse Lee Peterson is because Judge Joe Brown lets no one off the hook. No one. No one. He knows where his bread is buttered. He knows who his support system is, but he's not letting anyone off the hook at all. And he's giving us his point of view from experience and understanding. And he's answering the question based off of his own knowledge from reading the indictments. Most people with an opinion about these indictments, most people with an opinion about what Trump is going through right now, have not even attempted to read the indictments because they already like, oh, it's BS. I'm not reading that crap. It's BS. Well, you do know that a whole bunch of people vote Democrat because they don't even hold the people that they vote for accountable because they think that they're going to handle it. I'm not reading that crap that they stand for. I'm not going to call them or email them. They're going to do what I believe that they're going to do the right thing. I'm just going to pass it on. That's what a lot of people do. And at the end of the day, you're going to be held accountable for it, whether it's directly or indirectly. The person that you vote for, he won't get the job. Simple and plain. All right, so let's get back to this, man. He is really breaking it down, man. I love this.
even if Congress comes up with a
Democrats
law
can't
that
breathe.
says he can't, well, that's
mean.
unconstitutional.
That's
And
mean.
Marbury versus Madison, 1803, 220 years ago, says if Congress passes an unconstitutional act, it is null and void. And that's what seems to be the case here. So you keep going into it and you find something that is very disturbing. Individuals belonging to a party are going to do the equivalent of a child in elementary school throwing something at another child and then running to the teacher and saying, teacher, he's going to hit me. You just wait until you go, my mommy picks me up. You won't be able to catch me. Nah, nah, nah. See, that's what it looks like. And the idea that three individuals are going to, or three little entities are going to deprive the American public of who they want to vote for is absolutely disturbing. Let's say it looks like the National Socialist Workers Party.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not familiar with that, the acronym for National Socialist Workers Party is Nazi. N-A-Z-I. And we remember Adolf and Heinrich and all those guys.
Yeah.
And
Let me
what
ask,
happened?
let me ask this. Do you think they're going to put him in prison?
There's no way this should stand on appeal. What they want to do is take allowance of what Biden and Stennis and Byrd introduced 40 years ago is legislation that allows a U.S. attorney for the specific purpose of crippling someone, bringing criminal charges, even if there's no chance of making them stick. This is what I said was happening when they started the prosecution of Dr. Bill Cosby. I said, this is so far on the wrong side of the Fifth Amendment, there's no way it would stand. Now, I've talked to Dr. Cosby personally several times since he got out, and they offered him immediately, we'll let you out 2 or 3 days if you'll just go along and concede.
This is coming directly from a judge. And for him to say the things he's saying, I'm believing him. I believe him more than I would a politician. Although he is a politician now because he wants to be a mayor. But he is shooting straight, man. And I appreciate that. Wow,
and the bottom line is you can't violate the Fifth Amendment by saying one DA says we're not going to prosecute. Okay, so now he doesn't have any protection against being required in a civil matter to answer interrogatories. And then another DA coming in and saying, we're not bound by that. We're going to take his interrogatories and use them as basis for our prosecution. He never admitted wrong. All he was doing was saying, hey, it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, sex revolution when all this was going on. They got what they wanted. I didn't take advantage of them. But you see, those were constitutional principles that are more important than anyone's grievance because they impact all of us. That's what's scary about this whole thing.
Amazing. Short answer. What is the solution to all this mess?
He said short answer. Judge Joe Brown don't have short answers. This brother has slow, methodical answers, and they're usually extremely honest. And I like when he take his time answering these questions.
Home training, but since we don't have home training, we have to get back to where we were 40 years ago, 45, 50, 60 years ago, which is churches, synagogues, mosques, temples, the public, the movies, the entertainment industry. The people start talking about character, making where you live a better, safer, more secure place filled with economic prosperity, sense of purpose, etc. Being brave and courageous, men and women of public peace, dignity, order. Otherwise, where it's up to us to do this, nobody's going to do it for us.
Yes, stop complaining about other people being the ones who are the blame and all those things. All I'm doing is just showing two gentlemen have a conversation about things that need to happen in our country. That's it. Just so some of you guys know, if you don't know who I am, my name is van.hall Sr. I've accomplished some things in my life, but my biggest accomplishment is being married to the love of my life for 25 years. I'm having 4 amazing children, 2 of which graduated college at the top of their classes. One is graduating next year. LFR JoJo as an engineering student. He is also at the top of his class, and one who just now entered into college as a freshman as an engineering student who also got all of the scholarships. That's my baby girl right there. But that's the love of my lives right there. You know what I mean? And that's what I represent. I represent God and family. What he's talking about right now is raising people properly. Get back to raising your kids right, all right? Not only raising your kids, but also yelling or holding other people's kids accountable too. But in order for us to do that, we can't have people with punk ass parents who are going to yell at us when we correct their kids. Don't be talking to my kid. That's my child. Don't say that to my child. That hood mess, that garbage right there, that's not how we're going to get better, man. Like, I should be able to correct your child if they're doing something wrong. You should be able to correct my child if they're doing something wrong. As a matter of fact, come tell me. Let's work together. We're not working against each other. Like, we are working together. So that's what he's saying right now. We need to get back to that. Thank you so much, Lil Rock. Thank you so much. And the fact that the churches, I think we're too far gone to get back to where we was with the way the churches used to be. We're way too far gone because everyone in the churches, when you start talking about what the Bible really stands for in your church, you start losing congregants. People start leaving your church, by the boatloads, and going to other churches that will accept any and everything. A pastor can't even talk about Sodom and Gomorrah anymore. Let a pastor talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. Watch what happened to his church. His church will lose probably half of the people that attend his church. So churches can't do their part anymore. Parents can't do their part anymore. You can't put hands on your kids. My daughter is a teacher in Florida, and the way that she has to deal with these parents and their children is crazy. It's like I can't even yell at this little kid without them having a temper tantrum or fake falling out and having a, just showing us that their parents aren't doing a damn thing. So at the end of the day, if parents aren't parenting and other institutions aren't doing what they were put out there to do, like churches, and the government also are not doing what they're supposed to do, they're just looking at that mighty dollar and they're leaning toward who will pay the most. We are screwed.